I thought I was being paranoid. My son's teacher kept smiling at my husband during conferences, laughing at every joke. I ignored it, until I got a call from another mom saying, "I think you need to see this." It was a TikTok of them dancing, kissing, in his work shirt. The caption read, "School crush goals." My blood ran cold. I played the video at dinner. My husband said, it was harmless. My son looked me in the eyes and said, "I don't want to live here anymore." So I packed my things. Let him stay with his dad. 2 months later, my son moved back. I live in a small town outside Fort Wayne, Indiana. Not even on the map unless you zoom in twice. Everyone waves at each other here. The barber shop still has a striped pole, and the post office closes early on Fridays. People talk, but they don't always say what matters. I'm Rachel. I'm 39. I teach piano lessons out of my home. Not fancy, just what I know. I've been married, was married, for 14 years to a man named Craig. He's 41. Works for a plumbing company. Comes home with grease on his hands, back sore, and smelling like sweat and metal. We've got a son named Dylan. He's 11. Smart kid. Quiet, but sharp. Too sharp for what he's had to deal with. This started months back, but looking back now, the signs were there. I just didn't want to believe them. When Dylan started 6th grade, he was assigned a new homeroom teacher, Miss Bryant. I remember her name now like it's carved into the inside of my skull. Katie Bryant. She was young, probably late 20s, blonde hair always up in some messy bun with those fake wisps falling out. Bright lipstick. Tight sweaters. The kind of woman who knew she looked good and made sure everyone else knew too. The first time I met her was during fall parent-teacher night. Craig and I showed up together, even though I always had to push him a little to go. He didn't care much for that kind of stuff. But we sat down across from her little desk with the pumpkin stickers on the corners. She leaned forward when Craig spoke. Laughed at every joke. Even the dumb ones. I noticed it right away. The eye contact held too long. The way she'd smile and then glance down like she was shy. Once, she touched his arm when he joked about how long the school day must feel. I remember blinking, staring, thinking, did that just happen? But I didn't say a thing. I told myself it didn't mean anything. Maybe I was reading too much into it. Maybe I was just insecure. It's not like Craig was Brad Pitt. He was just Craig. My Craig. Broad-shouldered, balding, always complaining about his boss. But mine. Every conference after that? Same thing. She'd light up when he walked in. Barely look at me. Her eyes followed him. Her hands played with her necklace when he talked. Once, I swear she flipped her hair and said, "You're so funny, Mr. Carter," like she was a teenager with a crush. I still said nothing. I had no proof. And if I said something, I knew how it'd go. I'd be the jealous wife. I'd be imagining things. Craig would laugh and say I was acting crazy. So I shoved it down. I smiled through it. I told myself to grow up. Then, 2 months ago, I got a call from Teresa, another mom from the school. We're not close friends, more like PTA acquaintances. I almost didn't answer. I'm glad I did. Her voice was low, kind of shaky. "Rachel. Listen, I don't want to stir anything up. But I think you need to see this." She sent me a TikTok. I clicked the link. And there they were. Craig and Miss Bryant. In the school parking lot. He was still in his work shirt. She was in a skirt that was definitely not school dress code. They were doing one of those stupid TikTok dances. Laughing. She spun, he caught her, and then, he kissed her. Right there. In broad daylight. Her hand slid down his chest like something out of a trashy show. He grinned like a teenager. The caption? School crush goals #teacherlife #workflirt. My stomach turned. My ears rang. I sat on the edge of the bathtub with the phone still playing the video on a loop. I watched it 5 times before I even realized I was shaking. I didn't yell. I didn't call him. I waited. That night, I made dinner. Mashed potatoes. Green beans. Baked chicken. The same boring dinner we always had on Mondays. Craig sat across from me like nothing happened. Dylan was next to me, scrolling on his tablet. I got up, grabbed my phone, walked back to the table, and hit play on the video. I turned the volume up all the way. Sat the phone right in the middle of the table. The sound of their fake laughter filled the room. Their kiss. Her stupid voice. Craig's fork clattered to his plate. His face went white. I looked at him and asked, real calm, "What is this?" He blinked. It's not what it looks like." Dylan turned to him and said, quiet but sharp. "You kissed my teacher?" Craig stuttered. "It was harmless. We were just joking around." "It's nothing." That's when Dylan stood up. He looked me right in the eyes and said, "I don't want to live here anymore." That broke me. I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything. I just stood up. Walked to the bedroom. Packed one suitcase. Grabbed my keys. Before I walked out, I looked at Craig and said, "You made your choice." I moved in with my sister across town. Told Dylan he could stay with whoever he wanted. I didn't force him. I wanted him to decide. He stayed with Craig. That almost killed me. But I let him go. I knew trying to drag him with me would just mess him up more. 2 months passed. Then, last week, there was a knock on my sister's door. I opened it, and there he was. Dylan. Backpack over his shoulder. Eyes red. Shoes muddy. He didn't say much. Just looked up and said, "Can I come home now?" I brought him in. Heated up some leftovers. He barely touched them. Later that night, when I was tucking him in on the pull-out couch, he finally spoke. "I don't like her. She's fake. She talks bad about you. She told me I should call her Katie. She said you were too dramatic and that this was better." Then he paused and added, "She acts like she lives there now." He wasn't crying, but he looked tired in a way no kid should look. And that's when I knew, this wasn't just about a broken marriage. This was about my son. And I was done sitting still. I was going to make them both regret everything. I didn't go for some messy, loud revenge. I wasn't about to throw bricks or torch his truck. That's not how I work. I was raised by a quiet mother who always told me, let them dig their own grave. Just hand them the shovel. And Craig? He was already digging. First thing I did was go to the school. Not as a screaming ex-wife, but as a concerned mother. I scheduled a meeting with the principal, Mr. Halverson, and the school board liaison. No one knew yet. That TikTok wasn't viral, just floating around between a few parents. I brought my laptop, played the video, and said, "My son's teacher is kissing a married man. On school property. During school hours." Mr. Halverson blinked so many times I thought he was having a stroke. They asked if I wanted to file a formal complaint. I said yes. Then I asked if there was a rule about teachers dating parents. Turns out, there isn't a strict one. But they don't like it. Especially not when it affects the kid. Dylan had been struggling in class. His grades dropped. He was acting out. I told them it wasn't a coincidence. That same week, Miss Bryant was placed on temporary leave pending investigation. The PTA started whispering. Then buzzing. Then full-on gossiping. And while the school was digging into her, I started digging into Craig. We still had a joint bank account. Dumb, I know, but I hadn't gotten around to changing it. That's when I noticed something weird. $78 charge from Olive Garden. On a Tuesday. $42 from a candle shop in Auburn. $113 at some place called Tranquil Touch Massage. Every time he told me he was working late, he was out spending money on her. I printed it all. Highlighted every charge. Put it in a folder and mailed it to his mother. Yeah, I went there. She and I used to be close. After the divorce stuff started, she'd backed off, said she didn't want to take sides. I helped her choose her hospice care plan for her mom. I brought her groceries during her hip surgery. She called me her favorite daughter-in-law even though I was the only one. Now? She could see what her golden boy was really doing. 2 days later, I got a voicemail from her, crying, saying she was so ashamed. I didn't answer. Let her sit with that. Meanwhile, Dylan was adjusting to life with me again. He slept a lot. Didn't talk much. But slowly, he started to smile again. I got him back into piano. Not for lessons, just for fun. He said he missed it. Then one night, he asked if he could tell me something without me getting mad. I said of course. He said, she used to talk about you. When Dad wasn't around. She said you were bitter and lonely. That you didn't understand him. That he was meant to be more. I swallowed hard. Told him thank you for being honest. And then I added, do you believe her? He shook his head. No. She's the lonely one. She just hides it better. That's when I knew my son had already seen more truth than most adults. But the worst part? Craig still hadn't apologized. Not once. Not for the cheating. Not for hurting Dylan. Nothing. So I decided to get legal. I filed for divorce. Filed for full custody. Used every receipt, every message, every TikTok as evidence. I was calm, thorough, and cold. My lawyer said I had one of the cleanest cases he'd seen in years. Then came the day Craig finally called me. He sounded tired. Hollow. You win, he said. I didn't say anything. She's gone. Quit her job. Moved back to her mom's place in Michigan. Still, I stayed silent. She said I ruined her life. I almost laughed. Ruined her life? She kissed a married man on camera and posted it with emojis. Then he said the thing that really pissed me off, you got what you wanted. Are you happy now? I took a deep breath and said, I'll be happy when Dylan's okay. Until then? I don't give a damn about you. Then I hung up. I thought that would be the end of it, Craig alone, the girlfriend gone, and me finally moving forward. But no. That man always knew how to screw things up worse when he was already sinking. A week after the phone call, I got a certified letter in the mail. At first, I thought it was something from the court or the school. But it wasn't. It was a notice. Craig had filed for shared custody. After everything. I called my lawyer immediately. He sounded just as shocked as I was. This man really thinks the court is going to give him equal time after cheating with his kid's teacher and having it blow up in public, he said. But Craig had a new lawyer. One of those billboard types from Fort Wayne. Slick. Smiled too wide. And apparently, he'd told Craig that if he didn't fight for shared custody now, the court would see it as abandonment. So now, he was trying to play Dad of the Year, showing up to Dylan's games, sending him texts, offering to buy him new things. Dylan wasn't stupid. He told me, I don't want to go back. He just wants to win. I asked him if he wanted to tell the judge that himself. He nodded. I'll do it. That hurt. It hurt to even ask him to be part of this legal mess. But the truth was, his voice would matter. Maybe even more than mine. The court assigned a child services rep to interview Dylan. She came to the house, asked gentle questions. Dylan told her everything. About the video. About the way Katie treated him. About how Craig started acting like a stranger. He told her he felt safe with me. That he didn't feel heard with his dad. She wrote it all down. Then she told me, gently, I'll be honest with you, this kind of case usually ends in joint custody. But the fact that he wants to speak, and is this clear? That might change things. But Craig wasn't done playing games. One afternoon, I saw him parked outside the house. Not knocking. Just sitting in his truck. Watching. I stepped outside and walked down the sidewalk toward him. He didn't roll down the window at first. Just stared straight ahead. Finally, I knocked on the glass. He rolled it down 2 inches. What are you doing here? I asked. He shrugged. Just making sure you're not poisoning Dylan against me. I laughed once, short and bitter. You did that all by yourself. Then I leaned down and said, you want to fight for custody? Fine. But don't stalk my house. Next time, I'm calling the police. 2 days later, he sent Dylan a box. Inside was a brand new PS5. A note taped to the console said, from Dad, miss you. Come visit anytime. I didn't say a word. Just let Dylan decide. He didn't even open the box. He told me, he thinks I can be bought. But he doesn't even know what games I play anymore. And while Craig was busy wasting money trying to win back a son he pushed away, the school investigation finally wrapped up. Katie Bryant was banned from teaching in the entire district. Word spread that she'd tried applying to a different school 30 miles away and had been turned down flat. Parents were calling it the TikTok teacher scandal. She'd deleted all her social media, and her name was poison online. But then, just when I thought she'd disappear forever, I got a message. On Facebook. A burner account. No profile picture. You think you won? You're just as pathetic as he said you were. Enjoy your sad little life. No name. No proof. But I knew it was her. She was still watching. Still bitter. Still blaming me. I didn't reply. I just screenshotted it, sent it to my lawyer, and added it to the custody file. Let them both keep digging. Because now, I wasn't just going to win custody. I was going to destroy whatever image they thought they still had left. The custody hearing was scheduled for a Friday morning. I barely slept the night before. Dylan wanted to come. I told him he didn't have to. He said, no. I want to tell the truth. In front of everyone. We walked into the courthouse like we were walking into war. Craig sat at the other end of the courtroom, wearing a suit that didn't fit right. His new lawyer kept patting his shoulder. But his eyes kept flicking to Dylan. Dylan didn't look back. The judge was an older woman. Stern face. No time for nonsense. She listened to the lawyers first. Mine brought everything. The TikTok. The receipts. The school's report. The Facebook message. The school counselor's notes on Dylan's decline. Then the rebound when he moved back in with me. Then it was Dylan's turn. He walked up to the chair slowly. Sat down. The judge asked him a few questions. He didn't cry. He didn't fumble. He just told the truth. About how things felt different when Miss Bryant started showing up. About how she told him I was dramatic. About how his dad laughed it off like it was nothing. Then she asked him one last thing, where do you feel most safe? He looked over at me and said, with my mom. Always. The judge nodded. Thank you. When it was Craig's turn to speak, he didn't say much. Just kept going on about trying to make things right. How everyone makes mistakes. That he was a good father who slipped up. But it was too late. The judge granted me full legal and physical custody. Craig would get supervised visits every other Saturday at the community center, with a counselor present. 6 months minimum before any review. He sat frozen. Couldn't even look at me. But I wasn't done. After court, I filed to close our joint bank account. Transferred everything into my name. The lawyer helped me put a lien on his truck for unpaid child support that would start racking up the moment he missed a payment. And because I still had all those receipts from when he was spending money on her while we were married, my lawyer filed a marital waste claim. I got awarded $3,400 in small claims court 2 weeks later. Then came the final move. Remember that Facebook message? We tracked the IP address through a subpoena. It was hers. She'd used her mom's Wi-Fi. My lawyer sent her a cease and desist. She ignored it. So we filed harassment charges. The same local paper that reported the TikTok teacher scandal ran a new headline: "Former teacher faces charges after harassing student's mother." Her mugshot was online for weeks. She looked nothing like she used to. Pale. Hair flat. Eyes red. No lipstick this time. Craig? He called me a month later. I didn't answer. But the voicemail was there. He said, "I don't recognize myself anymore." I listened. Then deleted it. But here's the truth, I wasn't innocent in all of this either. I saw the signs. I stayed quiet. I let myself believe the lie because it was easier than facing the truth. I let my fear of being dramatic keep me frozen. My mistake wasn't just trusting the wrong person. It was betraying myself by staying silent too long. But I learned. And I fought. And I made sure my son knew that when someone hurts you, you don't just sit in the ashes. You stand up, clean up, and burn down every lie they built around you. And if they're foolish enough to come back, you remind them why they should have left you alone.